Hey Game Timers, YouTubers, welcome back to probably what is one of my favorite series that I do here on the Game Time channel. It's kind of taking a look at some Fantastic Four Atari 2600 games. This is the fourth edition of the show. If you haven't seen it, or if you kind of forgot what it's about, it's literally just a show where we just do 2, maybe 3, 4 minutes of gameplay for 4 fantastic Atari 2600 games. We've done so in the past. And we got a special edition for this particular return to the series. As you can see, 4 games here. These are games for the first time in this series that are all played on using the paddle controller for the Atari 2600. So these are 4 games that uses the paddle controller. And let's take a look at them, and we'll play just a couple minutes from all the game footage here. First we have Circus Atari, kind of a fun little, almost like a breakout game, but the blocks keep returning. You got to keep balancing your guy. Interesting note on the Circus Atari, bear with me here just for a moment, it also had a doppelganger from these telegames. This is that Sears telegames, simply just called Circus. And these two are literally the same game for 1 or 2 players, both 8 different game modes in there. Next up is kind of a black label edition. In the Atari 8 days, they had both a colorful label with a picture on it, and as well just a black label game. No, neither one are really rare. I have quite a good collection of both types of games, but black labels are, I don't know, a little bit more weird, or maybe like second run, if you will, second printing of a lot of games. Night Driver is our second game we'll be taking a look at. Kind of a fun little racing game. Here's another one of those telegames I was mentioning. This is actually called Pong Sports. It may not sound too interesting just from the get-go, but there's a lot of Pong variations on here. As you can see, 50 games. A little misleading because, as you can see, just 5 different types of Pong games, just with a couple different modes or different quirks thrown in there. But fun nonetheless, and we'll definitely take a look at that. And we'll be ending with one of my favorite Atari 2600 games. I know I have quite a few favorites, but this definitely is a top 5 of all time. It's Kaboom, and this is an absolutely fun game. Look at that, it's made by Activision, long before they kept making the same Call of Duty game every year. Here's a great game from Activision. So we're going to be taking a look at just a couple minutes of gameplay footage from these 4 games, and we're going to be doing it next on Game Time. Alright, and away we go. First of all, Circus Atari. Here we're using the paddle controller. As I showed you here, we kind of go left and right to move our guy left and right. And a nice button on the side of the controller there to launch our game. So here we go. Cheesy, yes. Great sound effects, check. Some laugh out loud splats, absolutely, that's in there too. So yeah, as you can see, the object of the game is you're this little circus person here. You're balancing your buddy and vice versa on this little, whatever it's called, teeter-totter thing. And you're trying to pop what is described as balloons at the top. There's the square balloons. There we go. And once we clear a line of balloons, for example, yellow, blue, or red here, we get a whole new row of balloons. So it's really a never-ending game. It's a true battle for a high score. Gotta get the momentum going here. Here we go. As you can see, if your guy just lands on that black squares, or one of the black squares, they just jump off it automatically. Alright, one more attempt. It's five rounds. There we go. We cleared the blue level, and as you can see, the balloons returned. So, not too bad. So you can see player 1 got 388. Not too bad. There's also a couple different types of games. Like here's 2 players. Here's one where you actually get some barricades. You can see the 3 sort of pale pink squares. If you hit those, you just bounce right back down right away. So it makes it a little bit harder to get up there. As you can see, we kind of hitting those. But at the same time, if you get stuck up there, and those little barriers will help you kind of stay jumping up there as well. So, excellent round right there. So, yes, that is Circus Atari, and there's a couple of game modes. There's also an expert mode, makes it a little bit quicker and everything. So, there we go. Circus Atari for the Atari 2600. Highly recommended. Just a lot of cheesy fun. Alrighty, next up is Night Driver, not to be confused with Knight Rider. That's the show with Kit, the talking car. This is Night Driver for the Atari 2600. We kind of drive around using our paddle as a steering wheel. And we're here at night, and the object is to get as far as you can. The score is kept on the left side of the screen, while the time is on the upper right screen. So, as you can see, we got 0 points and 90 seconds to get as many points as we can. It's definitely a tricky game. So here we go, just a little bit of what it's about. We'll hold down the little button for our gas, and away we go. And we gotta turn around corners, avoiding the barricades. So that's what happens when you crash into a barricade. You just kind of lose a couple of seconds. Always amazed by this game. Obviously, the Atari is capable of pulling off some pretty fast games like Pole Position and whatnot. Enduro is another highly recommended one. But really get a good sense of speed for this game. It's good special effects there. And how quick it looks like you're going. It seems like you're flying pretty fast. Cars coming at you on the other side. You gotta be careful of them. Nice little trees and houses on the side. Ooh. Some of those turns come up pretty quick. They're just a very sharp turn, very quick like that. You don't see them coming. A very good reflex game, if you ask me. I'm a horrid driver in real life, so already doing better than I would. Whoa. Pretty good progress. We got 10 more seconds left. A score of 43. And you can hang around probably a score of 50. That's a pretty good round. So there you go. And this game has a couple levels of difficulty. It's a little hard to see the darkened numbers on the screen here, but there we go. We got 7 levels of difficulty. So for example, we'll try 7 here. This doesn't look like there's a time limit at all, but man, it's fast. Already. Super quick. The turns are ridiculous in this. There goes a house. Ooh, that is tricky as can be. So, and everything in between. Like here's, level 4 for an example. So, a little nicer. Look, road definitely looks a lot wider in 4 here. Oh, car out of nowhere. But yeah, in a nutshell, that is Night Driver for the Atari 2600. Definitely a fun little driving game. Definitely unique as well. It's very minimal, as you can see. Not a lot of going in graphics-wise, detail-wise. But it's very good for what little quality and content is there. Night Driver. Alright, game number 3 out of 4 is Pong Sports. And as you can see here, basically looking just like your standard Pong. We're here on this side, and we got the other guy is on expert mode. We'll turn him. Oh, no, I'm on expert. Let me get to the console here. There we go. There's kind of a fair game. So we get the traditional Pong game in here. It's not black and white, a little bit more color to it. Kind of like it. Still a fantastically challenging game. But, as we saw on the label, there's 5 different types of sporting games here. This is pretty much the original Pong. 50 different variants, like for example, this variant will be when you hit the ball, it already goes a little quicker each time you hit it. So we got a couple of different game modes there. Here's sort of a 2 versus 2. Oh, that's with an extra players. I got the other controller right here. These are 2-player games there. Now this, I believe, is soccer. You can see we got a green field. And now the only way you can score is to get it in the sort of goal right there in the middle of the screen, like so. So a couple of different variations of soccer. For more of the one-on-one. This is described as foosball, I think, and you can see very foosball-like if someone else were to play controller here. We got some good old foosball. Obviously, some hockey here, ice hockey. Actually, one of my favorites on the game itself. Aside from original Pong, I really like this hockey game. It's a lot more challenging because now you have to get the ball sort of in the little goal right here. And it's a lot smaller of a target to aim for, so definitely makes it a lot more trickier, in my humble opinion. Here's sort of a 3-on-3 hockey. You can see where they get 50 games, and technically, yes, there's 50 games, but just a couple different variants in each particular type of game here. Sort of hockey done with some barriers in the middle there. Sort of like the foosball, only on a hockey table there. Now this, what did they call this variation? I believe they refer to it as volleyball. So yep, it is volleyball. Does it play like volleyball? Well, kind of, sort of. Now we can score on either left or right side, as well as top or bottom here. So, as you can see, another player would be playing along here. I believe only the AI play against the computer on just the original Pong. I don't see nor remember a variant here. Here's sort of like a racquetball type game, I think. Kind of you have to hit it and get it past the other player, like so. Well, this seems more like volleyball than the previous version here. I believe this one is the volleyball one. You can kind of volley it. Oh yeah, that's definitely a lot more volleyball-ish. I like it. So we got that. Here's a very unique one in my opinion. It's basketball. As you can see, we use the controller there and get it in the hoop. Now I gotta get the other controller to move around. Almost. Missed. Etc. It's kind of fun. Oh, there we go. So we kind of finish up with some basketball here. Here's sort of some guards here. Can help or hinder us trying to make a basket. Nice. And there we go. That's 50 of them. So basically now we got like a speedier version or whatnot. Oh yeah, I can definitely tell hitting there already. Getting a lot quicker. So 50 different variations of Pong, and again here we go with the very first game. And this one looks like only the first couple are for computer-controlled opponents. So Pong Sports, definitely a lot of games that are on there. I definitely recommend this one. Alrighty, and last but certainly not least, in fact, if anything, big finish for last, it's Kaboom. Absolutely one of my favorite Atari games. Certainly one of the most addicting Atari games, I think, that there is, period. Maybe not the most addicting, but definitely one of the most. As you can see, we got an escaped jail convict. He's wearing a black and white striped shirt, and he's going to be dropping bombs. And our object is where these three pools down here, or buckets, or whatever you want to call them, and we have to catch all his bombs that he drops. And we got expert mode, or just the standard, standard every guy mode here. So let's turn it back on the wider paddle since we're just doing a quick gameplay. So we start the game here, we'll hit our button and we can kind of go and catch our bombs. First 3 or so waves are pretty simple. We got 1 point for each bomb caught. Now we get 2 points, and that kind of helps keep track of what stage you're on as well. Now we get 3 points for each one catched, because we are in wave 3. And after every so often, nice break so you don't get too fatigued. And when you let one touch the ground, they all explode. You lose a bucket or pool, and you have to restart the round over. So now we got round 3 again. Not bad. Although a guy can move pretty quick. A very good hand-eye coordination is needed to play this game. Quick reflexes and very good hand-eye coordination. You kind of need to know where you're going half a second before you actually go there. So kind of do that. Fortunately, the control is very nice. We can get to one side of the screen to the other pretty quick. So. And when you've got one pool left, the game's pretty much over in my opinion. It's just really difficult to do with just one pool because the bombs very quickly just kind of escape and drop by you. So, but yeah, this is definitely a great pass the controller. It's a 2-player game as well. We just got the 1-player mode. Not a lot of extras in here. This pretty much is the game in and of itself. But anytime I have some friends over and we're hooking up the old Atari, definitely always like to get Kaboom out. It's always an instant party favorite. So, and like I said, easily one of my favorite Atari 2600 games, just because it's simple, obviously, but very difficult, hard to master type game. So that's Kaboom, made by Activision for the Atari 2600. And that will do it for this edition of Fantastic Four Atari 2600 games. Obviously, we got, this is our 4th one, so we've done 16 so far. More to come in the future. If you haven't seen one of your favorites, never fear. We got plenty to go through still. And always leave a comment if you want to add a game you think is fantastic to play on the Atari. I'll definitely try to track it down and love adding just these classic games to my collection. So, always a good way to go. And as always, thanks for watching the video. If you made it all the way through, thanks for commenting, subscribing, etc. And yeah, take care, and we'll see you next time on Game Time. Peace out.